Hey, it's Clayton Olson, and in this video, we're going to talk about how you can stay centered when communicating with someone that you love who is pulling away. Perhaps they are an avoidant partner, and you find yourself feeling quite anxious. Maybe you've been dating them for a while, or perhaps maybe this is a beginning of a connection, and there has been some intimacy, there has been some emotional connection, and you feel that you've been thrown for a loop. Maybe your self-esteem is on the line and you're feeling really in the dumps and you're wondering if you did something wrong and you're not wanting to blow it. You're wanting to show up and at least take your best shot at being able to create clarity and create the best possible chance of this working out. So first and foremost, if this is your first time to my channel, my name is Clayton Olson. I'm a relationship coach who helps people transform their love lives by working on the deeper drivers underneath their most painful experiences in love and relationships and rewrite those so that you can secure a life that you love and love that lasts. Join the community by subscribing to the channel. And if you are on the anxious attachment side of things, if you feel anxiety while you're dating, maybe that word anxious attachment is new to you, I've got a blueprint that I've created that I want to give to you for free. You can type in your email address, go ahead and click on the link in the description. It is for the Secure Relationship Blueprint. It's a PDF that I put together that contains the 5 common beliefs that you might be holding on to unconsciously that are actually pushing love away and have you creating scenarios in which you feel like you have to chase love. And then it reframes those beliefs into something that will help you be more secure and show up more powerfully in the way that you are with yourself in relationship and how you are with other people. So check that out. The link is in the description. All right, the first agreement to apply to your situation currently is to be impeccable with your word, to be impeccable with your word. And what that means in this scenario that you're in currently is it means to say what you mean and to mean what you say. When you get back in contact, it's important to, whether you're texting or whether you're communicating via phone, to speak calmly, clearly, and with intention. Not to provoke, not to prove, or not to manipulate either. Here's the thing, avoidants are hypersensitive to indirect communication or emotionally charged language. They often grew up in environments where words didn't feel safe or carried hidden expectations. So what you don't want to do is say something to the effect of, I guess you don't care since I haven't heard from you, or this relationship really doesn't matter because you disappeared again. That type of indirect passive aggressiveness, although it might feel like it's coming from an honest place, an honest hurt place within you, it will often continue to push an avoidant away because they will not have the resourcefulness present to be able to handle that and want to come back into communication and solve this problem for you. So how you would apply this in a practical way of being impeccable with your word is to say something to the effect of, hey, I care about you and I want to connect. Are you available to talk on Thursday? What this does is it clearly states exactly where you're at and exactly what you want. So you're taking a clean shot and allowing that to land over in their side of the fence, and they get to do with that what they will. And the second agreement in the 4 agreements is to not take anything personally. Their silence does not mean that you've done something wrong. Their withdrawal is not evidence of your lack of worthiness. And it's so easy to make their behavior mean something about you. And it's really important that you don't take any of their actions or reactions as a personal attack or a personal reflection of your worth. Avoidants often retreat because they feel overwhelmed. And they might feel overwhelmed by what's happening between you, but they also very likely are overwhelmed with what's happening in their life. And if you take it personally and start making it about you, it actually just creates a storm that drives them further away. So what does this look like in terms of communication? You don't want to come from a place of anxiety and hurt and say something to the effect of, you shut me out, what did I do wrong this time? Right? Where you're assuming their intention and then you're also assuming that you're guilty in this interaction. To move into a more secure way of communicating, you might say something to the effect of, hey, I've noticed some space lately in our connection and I'm staying connected to myself. And if and when you want to talk, I'm here. So notice what I'm doing there. I'm naming what I'm seeing without making them guilty or myself guilty. And then I'm also naming what's happening for me, right? So I'm not saying that I'm dysregulated. I'm doing my best to stay connected to myself. And then I'm just naming that, hey, I'm here. There's a green light when you're ready to have a conversation. The third agreement from the 4 agreements is to not make any assumptions. In this scenario specifically, it means do not make any assumptions about what is happening for them on their inner world, or do not assume their intent. So if you are experiencing and feeling like you are being ghosted right now, don't assume that's what they're actually doing, that they know that they're actually ghosting you, or that they're ghosting you out of malice. That would be making an assumption that discounts you and your value and the relationship's value as a whole when you really don't know. Instead, you want to show up with curiosity, and don't assume that you know what they're feeling on the inside unless they have specifically told you, this is what I am feeling. Because here's the thing with avoidance. They do not know how to communicate their inner world in a natural, automatic way. It's something that they have not learned, or typically have not learned at a young age because it was not safe, or they just were out of practice, or people weren't necessarily curious about it because maybe their parents were preoccupied with themselves. So an avoidant doesn't have that muscle. And what you can do as you dance with this type of person is realize that your curiosity, when you can draw it out of them in a clean way, they're more likely to respond to you. So instead of saying something anxious like, hey, you're clearly pulling away because you don't want this anymore, try saying something to the effect of, hey, can I check in with you? I'm curious how you're feeling lately, and I don't want to make any assumptions. And the fourth agreement from the 4 agreements is to always do your best. And how this translates into this scenario specifically with somebody who is pulling away from you is to maintain your own resourcefulness and connection to self. All too often, when somebody pulls away and we feel abandoned, what's actually happening is we are abandoning ourselves. We are abandoning our own center, where we are trying to go over there and figure out what's going on with them. Maybe we make them guilty, or we spin around on ourselves and release all these accusations against us and feel like we did something wrong, or that we are wrong, or that we're not worth it. And that's a way that we leave our own center. It's a way we leave our own worth. And so to always do your best means to stay resourceful. It means to tap into the well of resourcefulness within you, to find your well-being, to do things that connect you with yourself, to detach from the other person's actions, meaning anything about you, and come back to a place where you can be rooted, honest, and centered with yourself, so that you can show up rooted, centered, and honest with them. Because here's the thing, avoidants are attracted to people that can own their emotional center, who can stay connected to that. It allows them to feel safe. And what ends up happening is when you show up connected to yourself, regardless of what's going on with them, you provide a field of healing where they get to see themselves more clearly, where you don't give them any ammunition for them to have a reason to pull away from you because they're seeing you deteriorating into a mess where you turn against yourself or you turn against them because they pulled away. And what ends up happening is when you can show up in this clear, honest, rooted way that we've talked about in the other points of this video, you create the best possible chance for them to see themselves in their actions clearly and start to learn that how they are in relationship, how they communicate, how they are in proximity with you has an impact. And if they want to make the relationship work, if they're interested in doing that, there's a certain set of standards and a certain level that they are going to be invited to play at that is higher than where they're at to be in connection with you. So that's the 4th agreement, is to stay connected to yourself and to always do your best, to always do your best in this scenario. My name's Clayton Olson. If this video resonated and you find yourself in a place of anxiety, grab that guide that I've created, the Secure Relationship Blueprint. It is in a link in the description below. I'll pin it at the top of the comments. And if you've got any questions, comments, like the video, and I will answer any of them below if there's anything that's coming up in your own world that you are grappling with currently. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.